If God is truly the ultimate for you, as I see so many people of different religions presenting it, I would ask you, what is it that you're doing in order to prove that, right? Because I see so many religious fanatics, especially Muslims and Jewish people, saying that their religion is better, they are better according to their religion. See, your religion was created by a group of people a few thousand years ago to keep you simply, suppressed and idiotic and complacent. Now, if you're coming to me and telling me that your God is better than mine and you have a greater mission, see, one question I have: what is that mission? And how is it that a book is making you feel so great? Because, if you are telling me that a book makes you great because you belong to a religion, well, I want to eat some of those mushrooms as well, because at times I want to dream some of people's dreams. Being too rooted in reality and being highly sensitive person like I am kind of makes you feel way too affected by the things happening in this world. So from time to time, I wouldn't mind eating some of those mushrooms that people eat, and they just stay like this and they just meditate, and they see God and they communicate with God, and you know they think that that is all real, and they kind of forget that we wrote those books, our ancestors wrote those books. And if one book is all it takes to make you feel great, well, you're kind of living a very wrong life, my friend. I'm not denying that, well, a primitive version of creation exists as a man, and it has created the whole universe. Listen, there is one simple question that one has to ask themselves. If this God of yours is so strong that they have created the world, do you think they need you to fulfill their mission? Do you think God needs Jewish people to think that they are superior to other people and fight for whatever nonsense they have in their minds and whatever emotions they feel? Do you think it needs Arab people to fight and conquer and do whatever horrible things they did? Or do you think God needs Christians to do some 8th crusade or 9th crusade or 10th crusade? I don't think God needs any one of you as a warrior, okay? Now, yes, I know I'm a Christian, but Orthodox Christian, and I'll never give up this religion. But I'm not making a fuss or a fanaticism out of it, because I don't see people fanaticizing about Christianity much. But I see a lot of Muslims and a lot of, Jewish people saying that they have a more sacred mission. Obviously, I don't hate Arabs, I don't hate Jewish people, because, I'm a highly sensitive person and I'm a wise one as well, at least for my age. I can't bear hatred because I'm not here to ruin my life, I'm here to become a better possibility of what I am. But when I see people stuck in all this kind of nonsensical meaning, see, if you remove the meaning from a person, most likely you will simply obliterate them, because a lot of people can't live without their stupid toilet meaning. I'm not saying that everyone is the same, because not all Muslims want to conquer the world in the name of their God, or all Jewish want to subjugate the world in their own God's name. But if that is the most you can think of, and it kind of occurred to me several times that I joined some forums and accidentally did so, and like people were like, God will give, God will grant, God will do this. If God does everything for your life, my question is, are you an NPC in a world? Because if God does all the things that you do, is like, do you even exist? Because I'm sure you're breathing by your own self. It's not God that is breathing to you. You're a part of creation, okay? You're part of creation as a process and as a finite product that is constantly improving itself, or, well, supposedly improving itself, because, well, I'm kind of doubtful when it comes to many people. But even idiocy can improve, so it's still an improvement, I guess. Now, I'm not saying that anyone specifically is idiotic, but we're kind of surrounded by a lot of these. And the problem is, a lot of people are easy to control because their life is made simple. A sick society like this one makes sure that your life will be simple, because once they come with a new agenda, finally it is something new that happens and you will blindly follow it. See, if God is so strong that they have created this whole universe, well, the creation of this universe indeed was something magnificent, one may say. The Bible says it took 6 days, but, well, time was invented according to the Bible in the third or second day or whatever, But the very simple point is space is a consequence of time, not time is a consequence of space. Because even the Bible says at first there was nothing. So if there was nothing, there was definitely no space. Time in a way existed because it exists beyond this physicality that we experience. So when certain things happen to time, physicality will pop into existence. And I've been telling people that there have been thousands of forces working towards the creation of this universe, but people think that only one simple male god exists. Well, it is a very simple-minded version of creation, but it can be called as false because you can attribute all the powers of those thousands of forces who created the universe. You can attribute those to one single entity. It's not a problem in here. But see, when you're militating that your God is better than others, God will give to you and will ensure you. See, I assure you of one thing. If I tie you up and throw you in a lake, I assure you that God will not save you, okay? God will definitely not save you. You will not reach heaven or hell or anything like that. But sure, feel free not to believe me because, you don't have to believe me honestly. I don't ask people to believe me because once the reality of what I say hits them and it becomes a realization, it's always much better both to them and to me that they don't take what I say for granted, right? Because I'm not here for people to take me for granted. I'm telling them a few things, and the reason why I say that is because I use my voice in a certain occult way in which I plant seeds in people. Those seeds will grow. They might need years, they might need lifetimes. My whole existence is just that of a planter. I plant seeds in everyone because those are seeds that will help them become better. No person met me without having gone through some great changes because that's what I am. No one will stay the same if they meet me because they will either hate me or they simply can't take enough of me, but usually it's the first. And well, sooner or later they will simply weed themselves out of my life. People simply can't stay close to me for too long if they don't simply like me or if they embrace their own comfort zone for too much, because people around me simply can't hold on to their ideas for too long. They kind of are warped in a way into the idea that whatever they know in a way is just a tool that they can use to improve themselves, or it is just some useless, worthless piece of meaning that, well, they can discard at any time, right? Just like the programming that you're not good enough and things like that. I've been in the lowest of the lowest that can be with such things. I was trash when I got into society. I didn't even know how to socialize. I didn't have anyone. I didn't have guides and such to tell me, oh, you should approach people like this or that. I simply stood there, waited, and learned how people function. I didn't even read books because, well, I was at a moment when I didn't even have the money to buy a book to read things about people. I was anyways at my lowest, so I wouldn't invest that money in a book anyways. I barely had money to eat from one day to another. But, well, this is part of my story. I'm sure everyone has their lows and their highs, but, the very simple point is, as I was saying, your emotions are important to you. But if an external source favors or conditions your emotions, well, it means that you're giving your power to certain things. I'm not here to tell you that God doesn't exist. You either realize that or you don't, because once you realize meaning is irrelevant, you will realize the futility of religions as well, especially the Abrahamic ones. But ultimately, I'm not here to argue that they believe in something or they don't believe in something. I'm saying believing in the writings of a book is a bit silly, because a book was written by your ancestors, not by God himself. Okay, because if God created this whole universe, that only works for, brainlets. Because brainlets only know a few people around and a few places that they go on. They don't even know that they live on a planet, which is a speck of dust in the myriad of galaxies that there are in this universe. Once you're capable of comprehending the vastness of the universe, you will think that, wait, if creation is this big, I doubt the creator even wants me to believe in them. Because the question is, do you think gods or whatever else you call them, do you think God even knows you exist? Because if God is eternal and, according to modern science, lived for more than the 13 billion years that the universe has existed, do you think God even knows that you exist? Because how much life is out there? Okay, I'm a pantheist. For me, everything has life. All the toys, the things, the physical things, the inanimate objects, Everything that is around me has a life, and I prefer acting towards those as if they are alive, just like me. They become an extension of me, and when I no longer need those, I let them go. I have a little ritual for each of those events, but that is basically me. When you are me, well, I hope not too many people are like me, because I'm not sure a lot of people can adapt to the idea that everyone and everything around is a piece of life and has to be treated in a certain way. Very few people might be this sensitive to life. But see, the point is very simple. If something as simple as a book controls your life, well, I think that is not the best way to live. See, I don't mind the idea of the Bible and the things like that. But see, I take these things as teachings, and I'm only interested in the virtues that they portray. The rest is just stories about people whom I don't know for sure if they existed or not. Would I be interested in them, that they existed or not? Well, no. I can easily take the Bible or any other such book as, fairy tales. Because ultimately, do you really know that those people existed? Of course you are convinced that they existed because you see so many people telling you about those as if they've actually witnessed those. But no one has witnessed Jesus in your life, right? Probably not cases of the psychiatry, because they're probably seeing everything and everyone. But, the point is very simple. Don't focus too much on things that are written, because you don't know for sure if any one of those people, of those characters portrayed in those stories actually existed. Secondarily, you are not a historian. If you are a historian, it would be very important for you to prove that God's son actually came on this planet, right? Don't forget, the Indians also have their own powerful people who came and actually walked this planet, right? Christianity only has Jesus, right? Who came from a, let's say, a paranormal background, let's say, right? Because he was birthed out of nothing, right? They are the only one like this. The other characters, all other characters in Christianity, were simply regular people with, a certain amount of faith and devotion into God or creation in general, and they proved that faith. Most of them, unfortunately, were killed because, the Khazari who ruled over Europe for the last 1,000 years, imposing the so-called Catholicism, which is still their creation, but I don't want people to necessarily believe this, because, see, people won't believe me when I say that. Not because I'm not convincing, but they will simply disregard it as a test for me to keep to my own faith, and because, they only believe to certain people who teach them in a certain manipulative way. Or when their time comes, when the true experts will tell you that with evidence, okay? I just look into my system and see certain things from history, and, well, I'm not here to say that I'd be a guru or someone, but you have the whole history of this whole universe, You have it in your DNA. Why do you think nowadays everyone is so obsessed with breaking the DNA and the such? All the billionaires are obsessed with that knowledge, but they wouldn't want you to know it because, well, there's no billionaire in this world, be they a globalist or not, that doesn't have their own skeletons in the closet, and that they don't have their own indirect or even direct influence on you staying poor, because they can usually be billionaires only when the masses are poor, right? Why it's all about taxing you and not taxing them? Well, even if you tax them and take all their money, it doesn't matter, because they've built a life around income. If you take all their money, their income will still grant it back. And poor people are poor because they don't have a good relationship with money. They don't have a good relationship with them, right? They all tell you it's just paper. Yeah, it's just paper, but why is it that billionaires simply, idolatrize and worship those pieces of paper, right? Just like the narcissistic world. It's all about giving, not taking. But you're the only fool who gives. When it comes to taking, you're saying, no, I shouldn't receive because Bible says no. But everyone around you just takes, right? When you live in a narcissistic environment. So you're the only fool believing a stupid book. Well, more or less stupid. I only prefer taking the virtues out of there. I'm not interested much in who that was, who they were, what they did. If they did it with a certain virtue, yes, they have my respect. If they just did things, they're definitely not the only ones, okay? Other people like Jesus passed on this earth, and, they were not mentioned. Or their stories were deleted long time ago because they wouldn't want you to know that other people like that were, right? So these things being said, hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You're appreciated. Take care. Ferenc on board signing out.